By this time, the band had arrived. The money from the bank was also delivered, and the red tortoise, the lantern, and the candles. Everything was delivered. It can really be said that the lights are colorful and joyful. A black shadow in the distance, in a few flashes, has rushed to the stage. A black shadow has swept towards the stage. The light body is extraordinary. He is the beggar Gang Chong in Rudder Master Fang Remnant. As soon as he arrived at the top of the stage, he bowed down to Xiao Ding and asked, "Master Xiao Bao, Fang Yan has arrived." Xiao Ding said with a smile, "Don't be polite, Yang Xiao I asked you to come, and he will tell you if there is something." Yes, Fang Yan looked around at this account. He was a little surprised at this look, and he asked, "Little Bao, what's going on?" Xiao Ding pointed at the little evil and smiled, "Old beggar head, I don't think anyone in Chang'an City has ever done this kind of competition and guessing nonsense birthday party. I want to surprise them, and also take this opportunity to relieve the poor. What do you think?" He smiled and said, "Little brother, you are really unique and hold such a huge." At the party, the beggar disciples will definitely give their full support. May I ask the young brother, what do you want the old man to do for you? Xiaoxie smiled and said, "You can go to the poorer families in a while, ask them to participate, see them work every day, and there should be a time to rest and be happy, and you should ask a few good hands to pay attention to the surroundings, so that other gangsters will not make trouble from it, and the meeting will be destroyed halfway through." Fang Yan felt that these things were all as they should be, and they didn't affect the right thing. He said, "No problem, I'll do it." After saying goodbye, Xiao Ding has drifted to the street. The time has come, the dusk has come, the sky is full of colorful clouds, flying lightly with the wind, changeable, the tree tops and roofs, bursts of golden light appear, the floating flat glimpse lightly urges the night. It is the time to remember the lovesickness. However, there was a lot of traffic around Zikan, and the crowds were surging, noisy, and everyone was showing joy, and they were in a hurry for the meeting held by the little evil. As long as there are many people, Xiaoxie can't stop laughing, especially when he sees these people busy for him. How proud and self-absorbed he is. Now, he is happier than being an emperor. The theater was crowded with people, men, women, and children, monks, Taoists, Confucianists, beggars, and businessmen. There are 3 religions and 9 streams. Seeing that the crowd was so excited, Xiaoxie himself laughed and shouted, "The hour has come, play the drum." The 5 drummers of Dong Dong beat vigorously, and the sound of the drums shook the sky, thick and fierce, and the smell of people was full of blood. Blowing music. The band also began to play. Fire. The audience burst into laughter, and the little evil also smiled proudly, because he originally wanted to make everyone happy, and the best way to express happiness is laughter. As long as there is laughter, it means that the little evil has passed on happiness to them. Xiaoye lit the firecrackers himself. Ping pong. After a sound, Xiaoye said loudly, "Hello everyone, this conference has begun. As long as you come here, all will be rewarded. Come." He grabbed a large handful of silver and threw it at the crowd. The people were in a mess, collecting money, and although they thought, there is such a thing in the world, but the silver of the white flowers is not fake, but they only care about showing their skills, and they will pick it up first, and then they will talk about it, and in the midst of the clamor, there will be some wails, presumably they have been struck or struck. Xiaoxie looked at it and shouted, "Don't rob! Don't make noise! Listen to me! The man stands on one side, and the woman stands on the other, otherwise the woman will always suffer, quickly." Under the orders of the god of wealth, everyone was very obedient, and immediately the men and women were divided into two sides. Xiaoxie looked around and said, "My name is Yang Xiaoxie, I am born with a spiritual platform flooding, 7 pillars are bright, the gods are straight, the statue of the emperor in the dynasty, the statue of the overlord in the rivers and lakes. It's okay today, I am looking for you to open my heart, clap my hands and welcome, quickly." Xiaoxie grabbed a handful of silver and threw it forward. A burst of noise and applause has broken through the sky, which is unprecedented applause, more terrifying and shocking than thousands of troops and horses, surging Yangtze River. Xiaoxie raised his hand to signal everyone to be quiet, and soon Jianyan was a lot quieter, and he said, "Let's have a birthday party first. Whoever has a birthday today, please come to the stage, hurry up." And only 2 or 3 people in the audience walked forward. Xiaoxie shouted again, "Is there anything this month I? Many people have raised their hands. Xiaoxie shouted on a whim, "Is there any? In the first half of the year? It's okay for the second half of the year," Xiaoxie laughed. The result is that everyone has a birthday, and everyone raises their hands, including Xiaoding and Xiaoqi, as well as Xiaoxie. Xiaoye looked at Xiaoding and smiled, "Xiaoding, you eat the red turtle first, leave a little for me, and you, Xiaoqi is the same." He pointed to Xiaoqi. Xiaoding Jiao smiled, "No need, you can deal with the people in the audience. They are about to rush up, he. She felt that XiaoNa was really crazy. Xiaoqi was quite crisp, ate 3 pieces of red turtle in 3 bites, and looked at Xiaoxie with a smile. Even if it's his birthday, it doesn't matter today. Xiaoxie winked at Xiaoding before turning to the crowd, "Everyone will give a tael of silver and a red turtle on their birthday." He immediately asked the beggar to help the disciple divide it. There was another burst of surprise in the audience. The excitement was indescribable, they all thought that Xiaoxie was either a big madman, or a great emperor, and they were holding this kind of madness, and everyone laughed in return. Xiaoxie saw that the red turtle was finished before he shouted, "Now let's start the martial arts competition." He called Xiaoqi out. Xiaoqi jumped out happily, he thought that it would finally be his turn, but he thought that he was beaten, not beaten. Xiaoxie shouted, "My little brother is called Xiaoqi, there is one who is willing to compete with him, hit him to 10 taels of 1 palm, and he beat him to 20 taels of 1 punch, but only 10 people can come to the stage, quickly." Xiaoxie roared, and several young people had already come to the stage, looking at them not like people in the martial arts, but a bit like Crop Han. Xiaoxie looked at it, and told Xiaoqi in a low voice that he couldn't fight too hard, otherwise it would be bad to kill people. Bing Gran, these are all for Xiaoqi to fight. One of them was also punched 5 times, holding his stomach and gritting his teeth, and received 100 taels of silver, and the little evil specially rewarded him with another 50 taels. He stepped down with a squat, but he made hard-earned money. Xiaoxie shouted, "The game is over, Xiaoxie is the first champion, clap your hands, clap your hands. Quick!" He held Xiaoxie's right hand and circled the field for a week. The crowd was very cooperative and applauded. Not only do they find it amusing, but they also have developed a sense of intimacy with the little evil, which is easy for the little evil to give to others. Little Evil Khan and Little Khan were covered in his body, but he was so energetic, he shouted, "It's a guessing contest." The sound of drums and musical instruments contended with each other, and it was majestic. After a burst of applause, Xiaoxie smiled and said, "The first question is guessed with 10 taels of silver. Who wants to come up?" Immediately a young man climbed up to the stage and looked at Xiaoxie with a smile. The little evil shouted, "How many ears does a person have?" And 2. Xiaoxie shouted, 20 taels of right. Then another man came. The little evil shouted, "A person has 2 legs and a few hands, quick!" The little evil roared, and the man shouted in a panic, 2 pairs. The little evil knew that he had been fooled and smiled proudly, 10 taels wrong. Ha! The audience burst into laughter. A dozen people were called in a row, and all of them were rewarded. Now Xiaoxie raised his voice and shouted, "This is very important, there are 100 taels for a good answer, and 1 tael for a bad answer." He called 3 men to the earth. He asked, "There are 10 bald monks who live in the same temple and practice in retreat, and suddenly a natural disaster comes, and one of them who already knows it dies, and a year later they come out. How many of them have come out?" 9. "I can't answer 1 or 2. The second replied, "All dead." 1 or 2. The third thought for a moment and replied, "It's still 10. The little evil laughed and said, "Why?" The man said, "Because one of them is a nun." Ha! The audience burst into laughter. The little evil smiled and said, "Good answer, 100 taels." Everyone was really laughing with sour teeth. Only Xiao Ding didn't understand this question. She asked in a low voice, "Xiaoxie, how can you die 1 or 10?